Everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at advanced named entity recognition, slot filling, and dynamic entity updates. What you're seeing on your screen is a virtual assistant, a copy of a production healthcare assistant from our healthcare domain and vertical. And inside this assistant, there are a number of different skills. One of the ones that we're going to be taking a look at today is the Find a Provider skill. Inside this skill, there are some training utterances. You can see the entities that are associated with that utterance, as well as some of the entities kind of cataloged and slots that might get filled as a result of capturing those entities. So let's go ahead and open up the assistant. In the simulator, you can see that it introduces itself. There's a bit of a greeting message. All right, now I can come in and I can say, as a patient, can you find me a doctor for Wednesday? And in this, I've provided a provider that I'm looking for, as well as the date time, right? I've given it that I want a provider for Wednesday. The assistant will come back and say, what kind of care are you looking for? Well, I can say, I need a dermatologist. And then it's going to ask me for my location. I can go ahead and say that I'm in Denver. And great, now it's going to look for dermatologists that are in Denver on Wednesday, that are available on Wednesday, right? So, and it's a kind of a process of collecting this information and going through and being able to then make that request in the back end to get me the providers that I'm looking for within the given constraints. Let's go ahead and clear the conversation. Now what I'm going to do is actually try a more complex utterance where I include all of the entities all at once, and we'll see how the assistant behaves differently in this case. So I could come in and I can say, hey, I've had a rash on my arm for a couple of weeks. Is there someone I can see near me in Denver? I'm free anytime in the afternoon, 2 days from now, right? It's a fairly complex query. Now, instead of asking me for what area of care I'm looking for, the time of day and the location separately, the assistant is able to pick up all of that information from the original utterance and kind of go directly to the step where it looks for the providers that meet my specifications. Now, because we're in a development environment, we can actually take a look at what the assistant has understood in the slots that it's filled. All right, so by clicking on that debug icon, we can see that from this utterance, it's picked up the date time, right? And so today is the 11th. And so it's picked up that I'm looking for a provider 2 days from now in the afternoon. It's pulled up that the specialty is dermatology based on the fact that I said I had a rash, which was extracted to a symptom of skin irritation. And then the specialty was inferred from that. And this is known as hierarchical slot filling or entity extraction, right? Where nested entities might inform the system as to what upstream entities might be relevant and should be extracted in one go. Another example of this might be cities and states, right? So I provided the fact that I'm looking for someone in Denver or near Denver, right? So the city is extracted, but so is the state of Colorado, as well as the country, in this case, in the US, right? And then, of course, as a specialist, I was able to, the system is able to extract the fact that I'm looking for a dermatologist. So a lot of rich data, a lot of entities and slots being filled all at once to try to accomplish this task of looking for a provider much more quickly. Now, one more thing I want to show you is how we might update the dynamic entities in this case, right? So I can actually say, can you actually look in Boulder instead? So instead of Denver, I can ask the assistant to look for providers in Boulder, and it's going to go ahead and update that specific entity, the specific location entity. It'll come back and say, okay, let me update that. Looking for dermatologists available on Wednesday, now within Boulder, and as you can see now, it's a separate set of providers that are going to fit that new criteria. So hopefully that was interesting. This was a video going over the advanced named entity recognition, slot filling, and dynamic entity capabilities within the Avamo platform. Thank you for watching.